Understood.
Lord Lisvane has spoken about what you're saying. Quotes, everyone involved in this exacting 2-year inquiry has had to undertake to preserve strict confidentiality. This is an undertaking, let me finish, this is an undertaking that Mr. Bercow has now casually broken. As with many rules, it appears that he believes that this does not apply to him.
No, let me deal with it.
He now makes assertions which are not true.
Let me deal with it, because it's...
people is a big theme in British
Let me deal with it, because it's so easy. The person who is now remonstrating and sitting on his high moral throne is someone who breached confidentiality explicitly, categorically, unmistakably and incontrovertibly 2 years ago. Indeed, all 3 of the cases now being considered relate to people who either directly or through a family member briefed the newspapers against me. They did as much as they could to damage... Oh, yes, and I've provided that evidence to the investigators and to the Commissioner. They did their best to damage me as much as possible and then put in complaints and took a vow of silence. By contrast, I observed confidentiality for 2 whole years, and at this point, I am entitled to say this process has been totally unfair. I was told by the Commissioner that she would regard breaches of confidentiality by whichever party with the utmost seriousness. I provided the evidence, absolutely unanswerable and unanswered evidence of breaches by the complainants, and that has been, to coin a phrase that has just been used against me, casually tossed aside. The whole process stinks, and it wouldn't survive in a court of law. And if anybody wanted to debate the issues with me in a public forum, I'm absolutely confident
the other side of
that
it.
my case would
We
stand.
need the other side of it.
Of course.
You are getting out ahead of this report's publication in order to presumably make your case.
I am, and I am appealing. I have appealed.
Yeah.
I have devoted considerable energy, indeed prodigious energy, to doing so, and it seems to me clear, both on the substance and in terms of the process, that the basis upon which the findings have been reached against me is chronically unjust. And to say that it's a kangaroo court is a very, very, very offensive insult to kangaroos.
Kwasi Kwarteng said after the during the Owen Paterson affair that Catherine Stone, the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards, should consider her position. Do you agree?
I'm not getting into the personalities of it. I have dealt with the issue.
Is a nonsense.
No, I'm saying what I think about an unfair process. I think that the investigations have been flawed. I think they've been amateurish. I think they've been protracted. I think they've been unfair. I think they've been partisan.
Only because they found against you, some might say.
No, not because they found against me, but because, as evidentially I just illustrated and exemplified, Tom, there are particular procedures that took place, particular nuances that are just wrong. It must be wrong to say we will accept hearsay from someone who wasn't present rather than the verdict of someone who was. That's just a matter of principle. So with the very greatest respect, to say, well, you're just saying this because it's found against you is well below, if I may say so, your very elevated and cerebral level. You're capable, Tom, of much better.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. Let's see what happens to your appeal and when this report publishes.